Let's go. How's everyone doing today? Let's go. Before I get started, let's find out can everybody hear me first? Hopefully, I sound good here. Hope everyone's having a good day. If you've been following us on these SMI puts and calls, you've been doing really good this week. Got a lot of stuff to. Can you not hear me? No, I just didn't start yet, man. But yeah, wow, we got a lot of stuff to go into. I'm going to show you guys a lot of plays we can potentially look at. I don't usually do all that, but hey, there's a lot of stuff that you guys can definitely make some money on going forward here. Sorry about that, but let's go ahead and start this. I'm going to start off with AMC. I always start off with AMC. Got to do it. Got to show the first stock there some love here. But AMC, actually, everything's looking great for us this quarter. We're at 726 million already. If you guys have heard the news about all of these movies coming out, we have three potential billion-dollar movies coming out now. They're doing a lot better than what they thought. So they're talking about Mufasa sales right now. The first 12 hours are exploding. They're already predicting that to be over a $1 billion film again for Disney. Gladiator 2 is supposed to open up at, or they just opened up at 87 million international, but here they're also supposed to open up at about 65 million, which I know that doesn't sound like a super lot, but it's also going against that Moana and Wicked, and those are killing it at the box office. So Gladiator, I think, will have a better second week. But let's go in. But speaking of that, they're projecting the Moana 2 here in pre-sales to break over 200 million in the first 5 days domestically. This movie's going to absolutely destroy it. The first one is the most watched film, streamed film ever. So this one's definitely going to absolutely break a billion. So the most this quarter has been massively backloaded. So I still project AMC because with Wicked's already over 120 and 100 million in like pre-sales. This next weekend we should break like 350 million easy at the box office. It might even break four. It should just absolutely destroy it. Wicked and Moana 2 alone could easily bring in domestically 1.3, 1.4. Gladiator could easily bring in a couple hundred million. On top of that, with Lion King, you'll have another probably 250 million at the back. So I'm still projecting us at about 2.655. And it all depends here on how AMC did more of their expenses, but they should be profitable. 2.655. The one thing we do still got to keep talking about with AMC, the one thing we do need to say is we don't need to spend so much on capex. If he stopped spending so much on capex, we would be profitable. Like, there's no reason in my eyes we need to be spending over $200 million in capex and upgrades and all of that. It's like if we would have went 100 million less, we still would have did 125 million in that category. You could have had 100 million more. You could have been profitable. To me, I mean, granted, we need these upgrades. We do need these upgrades, but to me, it's like, all right, well, you don't need them as this, much of an expense that they're doing. But that's something that I do believe that AMC still needs to address is maybe do a little less on capex until we can again get to, profitable quarters, and you can afford that capex. So going forward, though, Ice Age 6 now is going to release December 18, 2026. They're working on a Wonka 2. CapEx is capital expenditures. It's like upgrades. You know, they want to upgrade all those theaters, and they were talking. Remember that we were talking about the 1.5 billion, and AMC was like, "Don't worry about that. That CapEx is already, in your quarterly reports." So they don't need to. He can set that amount. He doesn't need to be spending 200 million plus until you can afford that 200 million plus in upgrades and development and things like that. So maintenance and all that. It's like I don't believe you need to be spending 225 million, but hey, I'm not the CEO. So, but what I would be doing is maybe 125 to 150. You're still going to have, you could still get over a billion in upgrades. You don't need 1.5 until you can afford that. But whatever, that's another topic for another day. But I believe that it's capital expenditure, but I believe that we could lower that cost to bring our profit margins up. But back to this, so Wonka 2 is now in the works. Cars 4 is now in the works as well, and the last Cars killed it. So again, the box office is just going to come back better and better and better, and they're going to keep bringing back their biggest and best movies, just like I said they were going to, because all those studios lost all that money. AMC will easily be, like I said, they projected profitability in 2025, and now that was before they thought the Lion King was going to do this good. So the Lion King is still going to have a massive spill into Q1 as well. But I just want to show you guys in 2026 now with the announcement of Ice Age as well. In 2026, how much do you think these movies alone are going to make? These aren't even the biggest movies that we've talked about yet for 2026, but how much alone do you think these are going to be? Shrek 5, Ice Age 6, Toy Story 5, Super Mario Bros. 2, Paw Patrol Movie 3, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 2. Those alone is going to be insane. It's going to be an insane amount of money. And that's just the animated stuff. Like I said, 2026 will be the biggest box office in United States history. So, like I said, guys, we're completely fine over there. But I do want to get into some plays for people. I do want people to be aware of some things that are going on because there's a lot of money to be made while you're waiting. This is not being a shill because I'm taking money away from the movement. No, this is me showing you ways that you can make more money to put more into the movement or, have cost of living and be okay. It's never financial advice. It's always do your own thing. None of this is, I'm not pulling up charts. I'm going to show you event trading. Um, when we talked, when we did my SCMI puts or SMCI puts, we killed it. Then when we did the calls right after yesterday, an hour before close, we killed it. It was all option flows and it was all event trading. And I'm going to show you event trading, and then you can go ahead and do strategies off those event trading. So it's not financial advice. It's showing you something and you deciding what you want to do off it. And that's how I'm going to get away with nobody can cry at me, because it's I'm going to present you information, and what you do with that information is your choice and your choice alone. So here we go. I've never been a big fan of crypto. I mean, I obviously Bitcoin. I should have said going to Bitcoin a long time ago. I've taught people how to play Bitcoin because I said you could do the run-ups every time it runs up and it goes down. Buy it on the downs. Every time it was in like the 65,000 range. We were doing the run-ups, up and downs, up and downs. Should have just held on forever, but you can play it however you want to play it. So I get all those guys. Well, in Bitcoin, you would have made, yeah, woulda, coulda, shoulda, but I didn't. So here we are. But here's some things we can look at here. So one of the things that one of our biggest trades that we went over was when Coinbase jumped $120 to 2 weeks after we went over it on this channel. I told everybody is looking at Bitcoin and nobody's looking at the custodial, because suddenly Coinbase was going to be the custodial to 6 ETFs, which means they held all the assets, which means they got paid a giant sum of money, and that sum of money went up as long as the asset value went up as well. So Coinbase, as long as Bitcoin and all those things kept going up, Coinbase was jumping up with it. And I told everybody, get Coinbase because it's way cheaper than getting in on Bitcoin. And we jumped $120 in 2 weeks. It was a great trade, and it was an event trade, and it was strictly looking at, hey, all these ETFs are going to make them a fuck ton of money. Okay? It's that simple. Well, here's a new giant source of massive revenue coming in their way. What's that going to do to the stock? It's going to make it go up. And that's exactly what happened. So I want to show you guys some things here quick. Again, I'm not telling you any type of stock to buy. Do whatever you want to do. We'll get into the calls and puts. I'm going to show you how and why I did the puts when I did them, and when I sold when I did. And then, again, teach you why I did certain things. And then maybe you can take that into your next strategies in your trading. So now let's look at Coinbase real quick. Let's look at Bitcoin, crypto, all of this. So first thing today, going off of Coinbase. Now remember last time, Coinbase was the custodial to a whole bunch of ETFs that just came in. Okay, so I'm just showing you information. Do what you want. Now, what's coming in? Grayscale Spot Bitcoin ETF is coming in tomorrow. Okay, guys. So these are the types of things I look for when I do event trading. I told people I would show you guys some event trading strategies. These are the types of things you look for. Okay. Well, here's a Bitcoin ETF coming up. Okay. Who's the custodial? The custodial is Coinbase. So Coinbase has a new ETF that they're about to get a new source of revenue for being a custodial. Okay? That's all I'm telling you information. Now, on top of that, sorry, oh no, I didn't. Now, the next thing I'm going to show you, on the same day, Coinbase has BlackRock Bitcoin ETF option set to launch tomorrow. And again, that will be Coinbase as a custodial for that as well, for BlackRock's ETF. So now they have a new revenue source coming in of Grayscale. They have a new revenue source coming in from BlackRock's Bitcoin ETFs. Okay. Now, again, do what you want with this information. I'm not advocating anything. Okay. I posted this on Twitter just so you guys know. Last time this is what happened, and Coinbase went crazy. Now, also here's some more information for everybody. This is why I told people I'm jumping in Ripple. You guys pick your crypto of choice, whatever you want to do. If you don't even like crypto, don't worry about it. President-elect Trump to appoint pro-crypto cabinet members to fulfill his promise of making the United States the U.S. crypto capital of the planet. Now, in my eyes, now this is just me. It doesn't mean this is what he would do. I'd be looking in at Bitcoin and I would be saying, all right, it's already in the 93,000s. If I buy this, we're going to be super behind on Bitcoin. Is that the one that we need? Or is there other things we can look at and explore? And maybe you could have another thing where that explodes as well. And you can bring up something else to where now you're the dominant force in it. Because we're the United States. We're the most powerful country in the world, right? Our currency, we're the most powerful money-wise country in the world. If our dollar falls, it fucks up everyone. So when we pick something, when we back something, trust me, that something's going to go ahead and it's going to blow up. So Trump was talking about getting into crypto a lot. Now I want everybody to listen because I posted this and we're going to get into this also. Trump media is reportedly closing in on a deal to buy crypto trading firm Bucket. Now, if you look, now a lot of people are like, what the hell's going on over here? Well, if you look at their stock in the last month, it looks like that deal might be coming through. A lot of people got in on this information. The stock's already exploded. And that's the thing. I'm not saying that here's the thing. There's information. I'm going to show you how to event trade off information. Now, you could say to yourself, the stock exploded. Maybe you're a gambler. And you're like, all right, stock exploded. And it's all banking on this deal. Do I think this deal would go through? If the deal falls through, what's going to happen to the stock? You could play it on the downside if you think the deal will fall through. There you go. If the deal goes through, obviously by the time Trump takes office and he owns this, let's be real. The stock could potentially, I'm not gonna say it's gonna. The stock should and could potentially explode when the president owns it, and it's a massive crypto thing. And now suddenly it could be involved in government things type situations. Like I said, you can play this either way. I'm just giving you information. I'm showing you stock plays. People have asked me to show them stock plays that I look at because I never share stock plays unless it's, I do in my Discord, but not very much unless I don't try to show plays that are expensive because when I showed all my plays, they were always cheap. They were under $1,000, so a lot of people could afford them. I don't want to show these, oh, guys, jump in this $4,000 fucking option play and look, we made $1,800. Well, of course. But not everyone has $4,000 to pop in. So I always try when I do things in my Discord to show people stuff you can afford, make money on. Like I said, and you could play it either way. You could play it on the downside. You could play it on the upside. It's all about, do you think this deal's gonna go through? Obviously, market sentiment thinks that the deal's going to go through. When it does, you want to get into it if you're going to, logically before he becomes president. And from that point on, where it goes is out of my hands. But trading off event information, you would think it would go up. And like I said, I gave you an event. You trade off the strategy you feel is the best off this stock right here. You could trade off the strategy that I just told you on Coinbase. All that information. Now back to Coinbase. Back to cryptocurrency. So Trump talks about how he's going to fulfill his crypto capital and make the United States, we're going to get involved in crypto and we're going to be making a lot of money. And I believe that's the way he thinks we can get out of our debt. One of the ways we can fix this. Now, this came in today that President-elect Trump nominates pro-Bitcoin Howard Lutnick for Secretary of Commerce. So we're already getting pro-crypto in. You're already getting Bitcoin people in. You're already getting. He's already going to start filling his cabinet with what he said he's going to do. He told you, I'm going to get pro-crypto in. And now I'm going to start putting them in. We're going to start getting crypto in the United States. Now it gets more interesting. Again, I'm just giving you information. Now one of the things happening today, Trump expands crypto reach with acquisition talks and Coinbase meetings. So he wants to meet with Coinbase, and this is where I found out today. Obviously, I should have known this before. I should have looked, but this came out today, and obviously this is why the stock blew up, because by the time the information hits me and you're allowed to pick up scraps. This is why, if me personally, if I looked at this play and had the information that I just gave you, I would look at this and say, all right, a deal is going to go through. I believe the stock can still rise. They're going to still let us get the scraps. They're going to still let the market take it the way it should. And I believe there's still money to be made in this trade. Now that's just me. But there's information. Now you know why this exploded. But by the time we all find out, they've already played it. There's your insider information. There's your advantage to being them. Now, one of the things we could have done is followed the flow. Now, I normally never tell people about a company. I don't endorse anybody. I have no affiliation with Unusual Whales. I have no affiliation with Unusual Whales. The only reason I talk to him is I've used his program for a long time, and it's very helpful, especially if you know what you're doing and you can follow the flow. One of the things that was, you could have followed this stock, you could have followed the sentiment, and it got very, very, very bullish sentiment in the last week and a half, and you could have followed it and played it. So there was signs. If you know what you're looking for, there's programs out there that you can be very beneficial to you. Again, I'm not saying go buy Unusual Whales, but what I personally do when I event trade, so when I look at this type of information and I event trade, now I'll pull up whales, I'll look at the options, and I'll look at the flow and what everybody else, the sentiment of the big guys is doing, and you have to equate that in there to make a better educated guess on which way the stock will go. And then you can look at TA as well, and that is how you can add 3 things in to an event trade and make a very educated guess to where you are no longer just going, all right, it could go this way or it could go that way. So again, follow the flow. There's a whole bunch of things that you can do other than just look at the event itself. But now that you see the event, you now know I can make a play on this. So again, Coinbase, you have an event you can make on. I personally have jumped in Ripple. I believe Ripple will have a very, especially if Gary Gensler leaves office, like they've been saying, if Donald Trump removes Gary Gensler, I personally believe it doesn't matter what I believe, it matters what you believe. I personally believe Ripple can make a very large jump, and that is why I jumped in it. And I'm very, very happy with my position where I've already made not a super big profit, but a profit where I'm like, let's go. I'm just fine. Now, back to this. So again, here's a stock you could potentially play either way. Now again, you read this back to this. Trump media is reportedly closing in on the deal to buy crypto trading firm Bucket, whatever. According to reports, meanwhile, Trump on media met with Coinbase, Brian Armstrong, Bitcoin hit another record on Tuesday, so as you can see, he's also meeting with Coinbase. So Trump is meeting with Coinbase. There could be an affiliation now attached to Coinbase. Maybe, again, let me show you an example. Maybe something happens with this stock. Now remember, I told you in event play there's two ways. Now let me give you the other side of the information. I gave you the positives. Now let me go give you the other side. So again, I'm not giving you stock advice. I'm giving you information. What you could also think as a person is go, all right, he's meeting with Coinbase. Why? Is something falling through with this deal? Like I said, there's always, you can look at it either way. Everybody's brain looks differently. And you go, I'm a gambler. I think this deal might fall through. I don't think, why is he meeting with these guys? Blah, blah, blah. And you could make a play that way. So there's a play you can make up or down. Again, I believe it should still go up. But you do whatever you want to do. Now back to this. So again, Donald Trump is meeting with them. He's trying to get into crypto. What was I going to show you? There's one more thing on here I wanted to show you guys. Oh yeah, so he did want to, so they are talking about getting rid of Gary Gensler. They're talking about getting a Bitcoin reserve. So here you can read about this meeting. Read about this a little bit more. Fuck Hester Pierce, dude. Fuck Hester Pierce. Here's something else I'm gonna tell you. Here's something else I'm gonna tell you. Listen to, because this is very important. We know Hester Pierce is a piece of shit criminal. But that doesn't change the fact that if you want to make money or want to do something to where you're like, all right, how can I benefit from this piece of trash? Yeah, I'll put the link in my Discord in a second. How can I benefit from this piece of shit becoming in instead of being like, all right, fuck it? Because you know what she's going to let people get away with. If Hester Pierce, a way you can hedge yourself from that piece of trash, again, it's not financial advice, is crypto, because she is going to fucking let crypto go nuts. She is so pro crypto, it's stupid. She's gonna let them do whatever they want, and cryptos are gonna go nuts. Again, you're gonna have the president all pro crypto. You're gonna have, if this idiot becomes the head of the SEC, oh my God, she's gonna be pro crypto. Here's the problem. To fix this, we need somebody like a me. Obviously, I'm never gonna be able to get into it. It's never gonna happen. There's no way I'll ever allow something like that, or I would ever get the traction to do it. But you would need somebody like a retail investor. Because if they keep throwing in, like Trump's talking about throwing in this Wall Street guy, if you throw in a Wall Street lawyer, it's going to be the same shit. He's been defending these firms for fucking 12 years. Why would he come in now and attack them? They're all his buddies. He's gotten them off so many cases. I bet they've had him over for barbecues. I bet they fucking love him. Why would you put somebody like that in? That's not going to fix anything. It's going to be the same shit. You ever want it to get fixed, you need somebody that's going to come in there, has no fear of just fucking these guys up, and has a pure hatred for the criminality. Like I said, as an example, if I was in the head of the SEC, before my ass even hit the fucking chair, I would already ban JP Morgan from trading. I wouldn't even sit down before I would ban them. Or what I would do, if I'm not able to ban them, because I don't know if I can ban them until they make an infraction, I can revoke their market maker abilities, and I would take it away. I would instantly make them no longer a market maker, and it would fucking destroy them. And I would watch it burn and smile and laugh as I just destroyed the biggest domestic terrorist fucking corporation in the United States. It would be the greatest day ever. That would be the first thing I would do before I even sat down. And then I would call Kenny on the phone. And me and Kenny would have the best talk ever. And I'd be like, Kenny boy, first thing we're going to do. Oh, I'd go after him so hard. God, I would destroy his fucking entire thing. I think what I would do is I would start to remove payment for order flow from the United States. I would do what all these other countries are doing, and I would ban it from the fucking United States. Just get rid of it. We all would rather just pay a fucking fee. And then I would put in rules that make it to where like market makers, just like everything else. Think about it. Just like everything else in the world. Everything else has a monopoly, a cap. Only so much can go to it. I would cap Citadel. I'd be like, nope, you're not getting that much flow. I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna cap you at fucking 15%. You can buy 15% to 10%, you piece of shit. And that's even if I let you keep going. Because I don't think I'd even let him keep going. But I would need to find a market maker to get in. Like, see, this is the problem. You would get rid of trash Citadel. I would fuck Doug's world up. Doug at Virtue would have the worst day of his life when he walked into the office that day. And I sat down at that desk. I would dismantle his company. I would dismantle Citadel and I'd dismantle JP Morgan in the first day. I would take all of their market maker abilities away. But then I'd have to find, and I would know what I'd do? I would take all their market maker abilities away, and I would direct all flows I would direct all fucking flows to the exchanges. Fuck them, until I could get in some new market makers. I mean, oh my god! But I would destroy him first. I'd have fun before I took their. I would like slowly dismantle their company. Like I would do these massive rule changes that would just fuck them up over and over. Oh, it would be sweet. But back to this. But again, there's a lot going on with Coinbase. So again, you can play that either way. But there's plenty of information right there on plays you can look at. Crypto plays. Again, tons of events saying pro this, pro that. You have custodials coming up that are going to need to shelter these ETFs. Again, it's all Coinbase. It jumped 120 last time. I'm not, like I said, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just giving you information. It took 2.5 weeks though. So again, it's always smarter to get them out a little bit. Don't be like, well, fuck, let me get like a weekly call and I'll be no. Just protect yourself. It's always better to do a little protector than a fucking more of a gamble for a little bit more reward. You can make that reward back. But again, everything's starting to point into a lot of crypto in the United States, and a lot of cryptos maybe blowing up. And Gary Gensler getting out of there is going to be a huge thing for a lot of them. So again, you got a couple cryptos to look at, Coinbase to look at, BAKKT. Once again, Trump's looking at buying them. If he buys them, I mean the stock's already doubled. So again, guys, you got plenty of information here, plenty of plays, plenty of things you can do. But this is what I'm going to be looking at the next couple days. When I do my lives, I'll start showing you guys more information on other things. Now I'm going to give you another play. Well, I'm not giving you plays. Let me rephrase that. I'm giving you more information that you could potentially make plays on. Let's say that. Alright. Now, if you guys have been following me on these SMCI puts and calls over the last week, you're killing it. The puts were up like 600%. The calls went up 350. We were having a good day. Put a lot of those profits got into on the puts. We put in those profits into Ripple. It went up on, it only went up 31 cents. But again, I believe Ripple is going to, over the long term, I'm going to be very happy with that investment. But either way. So we got out, we got back up, we went ahead and we got calls. Right, like 2 o'clock yesterday, we were loving life. We followed the flow, and again, I was like, they are going to have to do something with this auditor. The flow suddenly got bullish in hell, and all of a sudden I'm like, guys, we got to get out of there. I guarantee you there's going to have some miracle announcement on the way, and someone is going to sign off on their fucking thing. Get out of your puts. Time to go the other way. Okay? So, after we switched, we jumped up again, we went down. Now, we wrote it down, we wrote it back up. Now, this is my personal belief. Well, I'm not going to give you my personal belief. I'm going to give you more information. Alright. So we wrote it up. And this is God, I can't. How do I say this? Well, whatever. I don't care. I really don't care. You're all big boys and girls. You know this isn't financial advice. I'm not gonna even worry about this crap anymore. I'm done with all that crybaby stuff here. So what I'm looking at now is what I'm personally going to do. You guys do whatever you want to do. What I'm personally going to do is the stock jumped on information that they had a plan, that they were going to not get delisted, that they were going to be okay, blah, blah, blah. So this information comes out, oh, they have a plan, they submitted this plan, everything's good to go. The stock exploded. And now everyone's like, oh, it's obviously fine. There's nothing to worry about. But nobody ever reads the fine fucking print. Nobody reads the fine print. Media comes out, and media. Here's the thing. This is what pisses me off. Media people come out and they write stories and they lie. And it doesn't matter. But people will fucking go with that story and it'll flood everywhere. SMCI submitted their plan. They're good to go. They have an auditing firm. They've signed off on it. The fucking everything's fine. They've submitted it. Everything's good. That's all incorrect. So first of all, if you go ahead and you read the hold on, what? Hold on a second. All right, sorry about that. So if you go ahead and you read their filing here, everybody said, "Oh man, BDO." They looked at it. BDO signed on, and everybody, the stock exploded. People are all going long on it. Oh man, BDO signed off on it. It's good to go. Well, if you actually read this, BDO writes in the report, neither the company nor anyone on its behalf has consulted with BDO. So basically, they said we haven't been talked to. They haven't asked us our opinion and all this stuff. Okay, so they're basically like, no. On all of this, if you read regarding the application, accounting principles to specific transactions, either completed or proposed, or the type of audit opinion that might be rendered to the company financial statements. So basically, they're like, they didn't ask us. We didn't sign off on this. We're not their fucking auditor. And everybody's, oh, they're their auditor. It's good to go. They're going to get this extension. They filed for an extension. They submitted a plan. But in the end of the day, they submitted a plan that wasn't really approved by any auditor. No one approved it. Then if you come down and read more, what the fuck was it? It says it talks. Hold on. It talks about such forward-looking statements may relate, among other things, to steps taken to achieve compliance with Nasdaq to continuous listing requirements, and the time for filing company annual report. Blah blah. Hold on. Where was it? No, it wasn't there. Oh, it does not guarantee. Hold on. Where is it? I'm missing the line. Here you go. Here you go. It talks about variety of risks and uncertainties, including but not limited to the outcome of Nasdaq's review to the compliance plan. The plan hasn't been approved. It's not gonna fucking be approved. It's like going up to your teacher back in school, and all you did was write. Well, I guess they would approve it. That's a bad example because the teacher don't care. She's just gonna give you the F. It's like walking up to a teacher and walking up to like a here we go. It's like walking up to like a police thing or a parole officer, and a parole officer gives you something you have to do, and you walk up there and you didn't do a single thing, and you think he's gonna be like, "Yeah, you're good to go." They didn't do anything. They submitted a failing plan that has not been audited and approved by anybody. Nobody. No one. Nobody would sign off on this. Now you have to listen to this because this is how bad their books are. Listen to this shit. This is crazy. Well, first, SMCI doesn't have a plan. BDO hasn't looked at their books. BDO hasn't agreed to conduct the audit. SEMI didn't tell BDO why auditor Ernst & Young quit. So when they ask them why they quit, they won't tell them. So still waiting on Nasdaq's decision to extend or delist. So basically, Nothing's changed, but a report came out that said, hey, these guys have an auditor. And then the auditor's like, no, they don't. Now, I want you to read this. This is what is crazy. Now, this is how bad this auditor is. This should tell you how bad the books are. BDO sinks to the bottom of U.S. audit quality legal table or league table. At BDO, 86% of audits inspected by PCAOBs were found to be defective. Basically, these guys are like the most criminal trash you'll ever find. And even they said no. 86% of their audits actually failed, but they went ahead and said they were good to go. So you went to one of the most corrupt people out there. One of the most corrupt auditing firms out there. And they said, no. And people, the stock exploded. Like people, oh my God, they signed it. It's good to go. They're going to get their extension. They filed a plan. They filed a half-assed, half-report, non-audited, no one signed off on it plan. And people were like, yeah, they're good to go. If NASDAQ looks at this plan and approves it, it is the biggest scam in history, and it tells every single company in the world from now on, you never need to file reports. Because you can come in here with half of it missing, say whatever you want, not have an auditor back it, nobody check off on it, and you guys can go ahead and do whatever you want. Let's just freeball it. SMCI basically is freeballing it. They're just like, they handed in a sheet of paper and they're like, hoping to God it passes. But again, it's a failing grade. It's beyond a failing grade paper. To show you even more how fucked up this is, look at this. Ex-BDO auditor banned for 20 years after faking documents. This company is so fucking corrupt. One of their auditors got banned for 20 years for faking documents. Now, they're faking documents. They're having 86% failures after somebody audits their audits. And even they said no. What does that tell you? It tells me, personally, as an event trader, I'm going to say, I don't think this plan's going to get approved. I'm going to take a risk. We've made profits up. We've made profits down. I'm going to take those profits and I'm going to take a risk and I'm going to bet this down. Because I have a feeling this fucking thing won't get approved. Because a lot of their... Here's the thing. Nvidia's earnings tomorrow. Okay, listen to me. This is, if you're in a when you event trade, you don't just look at this information. You also now I want you to teach you how to event trade and make sure you do it right and well. Now you look over and you go, all right, what else is happening that this would affect? You always look at the ripple effect. Okay. The ripple effect is Nvidia. Okay, I'm teaching you how to fucking expand. The ripple effect is this would affect Nvidia. Okay, what's happening now with Nvidia? Their earnings are tomorrow. Now listen, I'm going to teach you how a criminal manipulates it to their benefits. Right like this. It's so simple. Let's say bad news is going to come out. Okay. You wait till earnings. And earnings are going to be great. Earnings will be spectacular. The stock's going to jump. Now that you let the bad news come out. You made sure, though, before the bad news came out, the stock jumped a bigger percent than what you think it was going to drop from the bad news of SMCI. See my point? So you push it off, you let SCMI explode. Oh, everything's okay. Nvidia's earnings happen. Everything's okay. Don't worry, guys. Everything's great. Nvidia's killing it. Everything's good. SCMI is fine. And in reality, they submitted a fucking half-ass plan they knew was going to get rejected. This gives other people time. I showed you guys over the last 2 weeks. They have now taken contracts away from them, and they've already expanded those data center contracts to other people. So they're already losing business. They're giving other people time to get out. The stock explodes. It gives all the insiders times to bounce out on this run up. And then then Nvidia's earning comes out, and everything's hunky dory. And then a day or two later, you do the announcement. Nope, we're not going to accept it. And next thing you notice, it plummets. And that is what I'm playing. It is a risk, it is a gamble, but that is what I'm going to play. That is the information I'm playing it off. Just because I feel that way about a play and that information doesn't mean you need to feel that way. Do whatever you want to do. But that is the way I'm going to play SMCI. I played it down, I played it up, and I'm playing it back fucking down. I think it's not going to get approved. If you think it's going to get approved, don't listen to me. Go the other way. If it gets approved, it should jump again because it'll be just fine. But again, if they approve this plan, what that says to the entire world and to Nasdaq and to everything is on a whole new scale, a whole new scale. So again, some people want to do the opposite of what I feel. Do the opposite of me if that's what you think. I'm playing it down. Play it up. But that's the information I'm personally going off. But that's where all the signs are pointing. Now, back to Nvidia. The thing with Nvidia is all their collateral is in Nvidia. But guess what? Nvidia is having all sorts of fucking problems. There's a thing that's been going on in their Ponzi scheme, and there's been a ripple effect to the Ponzi scheme I've been telling you guys, and I'm going to show you guys what's going on and how this is going to end up fucking them over. Number one, Nvidia is having problems right now with their chips overheating. This is a big deal. This is a bigger deal than you think. Why? One of the things that Nvidia is doing, there's a hidden risk lurking for AI stocks. One of the Ponzi schemes that Nvidia is doing and what these AI companies are doing. So Nvidia will give these guys credits, okay? They'll give them credits. They'll count them as, hey, you guys bought this, blah, blah, blah. We'll give you credits. We'll give you extra stuff. You can buy our products with these credits. And of course, what do these guys do? They all buy the GPUs. So all of these guys are getting GPUs for their AI fucking components and all this shit with these credits. So they're not actually buying these credits, okay? So then what? I'm sorry, they're not actually buying these things. Now what Nvidia is doing is they're taking those credits and they're putting them in their accounts receivable as if they're giving away those chips and they're being paid for. But they're being paid for with their own fucking credits that they're giving out to these Ponzi firms. Okay? So the problem is what always happens. Greed. So what's happening is these CEOs of these Ponzi schemes are like, well, fuck this. I'm going to get rich too while I can because I might only be here for a couple months. So what are they doing? Nvidia hands me these super fucking expensive GPUs. I put them over there. Maybe I use them. Maybe I don't even fucking unbox them. Maybe I just let them sit in a fucking corner. Who knows? Okay? What I'm doing now is I'm taking those GPUs and I'm showing shadow banks and I'm showing private lenders. Okay? We're showing private credit lenders these GPUs. Okay? Anybody who's taken accounting, I've been showing you guys this for fucking ever too. All of their books are, I'm showing you how they're cooked in every single 10K that comes out. Here's they're cooking it right here. These guys are now using these GPUs. They're going out and they're getting loans with these GPUs as collateral. So now they're getting these GPUs for nothing. They're now going to get loans out on these GPUs value. Well, here's the problem. Well, first of all, these GPUs, now the new ones are overheating and fucked up. But these things were used as loans, guys. These things were used as collateral on loans. They're overheating, they're breaking. What happened to your collateral? It's becoming fucking worthless. It's losing its value. So what else is happening? The number one problem these guys didn't see coming forward. These GPUs are coming out every year to 2 years. The amount of depreciation that these things are having are on a whole new level. You're talking massive, massive depreciation. We're talking like worse than cars, guys. These things are the value of these things are depreciating faster than cars. And you know the second you fucking take your car off a lot, what happens? You want to you'll never return it cuz it's fucking you owe so much more, it's never worth it. You're so fucked it's not even funny. Okay? So these guys now, all that their fucking GPUs are because here's the thing. Here's the thing that you guys got to understand. Let me explain something with AIs. So when you do these processors and these AIs, the way that they upgrade these things and make them better, make them smarter, is they add different components and different things that make it so these things can compute at different levels. So these components are completely different, and that means last year's components are basically obsolete. So these things keep getting so advanced that they'll never need these GPUs again. And for you to keep up with these better AIs, you cannot use last year's model because of the different components in the GPUs that are in the year later are so much more advanced that it's like it's night and day when it comes to AI. And when it comes to AI and these things, it's all about how fast can you make this thing respond to me? How intelligent? Well, that intelligence, that speed, everything, this comprehension, that's all going to go off its components, its GPUs. It's all going to go off stuff like that. Graphics. Um, Hold on 1 second. I think the Wi-Fi wants me 1 second. All right, sorry. I'm a little loud, a little loud. Just trying to take a nap. Screaming a little bit. Got to calm it down. We're still watching the heart. Still watching the heart. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, back to the GPUs. So now these GPU components, so these AIs are basically obsolete. So they need to keep upgrading. They need to keep upgrading, keep using these credits. Well, now all this collateral is getting devalued, getting devalued, getting devalued. And now these banks are coming at these guys like, hey, we need you guys to put up more collateral. Or you're going to need to now put up these new GPUs and this new this. And it's a continuous cycle to the point, though, that it's building up and building up to where these private lenders are going to have to collect on these AI companies. And a lot of these AI companies now are going to go down. You ever look into RXP play? I'm already in Ripple. I got in Ripple. I got a pretty good. I think I have like 1,000. I mean, I got in there like what? It was. I think my average is 81 cents. So I mean, doing good. But yeah, I really like Ripple. I really do. I think that it's got a lot of functionality. I believe that it's going to be used in a lot of government things. That's one of the things I was looking at is some of these government programs look like they could potentially use Ripple, and if it does and it takes off at that point, that's what I'm saying. Like that was my point earlier with Ripple. I'm just taking a chance. I'm not saying it's going to happen. They could just keep on stacking Bitcoin reserves, and Bitcoin could keep going up. And next thing you know, Bitcoin's at 150,000. I have no idea. It's definitely possible, but I feel like another thing he could do, like I said, is since he would not be the giant big player in that, he could become the big player in a type of thing like a Ripple, and he could use that into his type of payment systems, because that's the difference between whatever the government wants to adapt, they can now adapt that into all sorts of government programs, government payments, and all of a sudden, next thing you notice, it's like, okay, oh my gosh, it's like I said, that would explode. So I'm going to take the chance on that, and I feel like it could very well pay off. I definitely like Ripple, I really do, but like I said, back to this. So back to this time bomb. So you have, and most of this collateral, because here's the problem. They got that other chip come out in 2025. They're just fixing the rack, which was already delayed. So they're just fixing some things, and they're like, well, when that comes out again, you're going to have another wave of depreciation on all this collateral again. And most of these people are already so close to going under with this stuff. This next wave of collateral, they're saying, is going to come and it's going to fuck them up. And that's the thing. These guys, they keep stealing in every single sector. And then they don't ever account for these ripple effects. And these ripple effects are going to come back, and they're going to end up biting them in the ass. Because here's the thing, this is private lending. This isn't like stock market bullshit where they can go, all right, don't worry about it. I'm just gonna not margin call you and pay me a fee. And this is private lending. This is like a fucking bank where you're defaulting over and over. And not only are you defaulting over and over, you're getting farther and farther and farther and farther into default, to the point where they gotta eventually say, at what point they're gonna have to collect. It's not, they don't have to follow any rules. It's just eventually when it's like, all right, when the bottom line is we're losing this much, we're gonna call it down. We're gonna call it quits. And that's exactly what's happening, especially since it's in the private sector. Because you guys got to remember, the private sector, they went to the private sector because the risk attached to them was so bad, banks told them to go fuck themselves. So then they go to the private sector, and the private sector, they pay more interest. It's more risky. They'll give you it, but you're going to pay for it. And that's where these guys went. So these guys are already paying huge amount to these private sectors. And these guys don't fuck around. You can fuck around with the bank. You can fuck around with these is the banks because they're so corrupt and bullshit they don't care. But when it comes to private sector banks, they don't fuck around, dude. Like, that's their income. That's what they are. They'll just absorb your ass and move on. They do not care. They're not gonna let you. Just let me pay a fee and get another 20 billion and fucking no. They're gonna take your assets before it even gets to that. They follow their own rules, dude. So again, a lot of these AI things, you're gonna be seeing a lot of problems. So the AI boom might be hurting here a little bit in 2025 compared to what they estimated it to be at for sure. But let's go on to the next thing here. I want you guys. I do like Mike Benz. He posted this a while back, and he was like, the second Trump got elected, you are going to be seeing, which is illegal, paper shredders going out to, going over to the Doj office. And a lot of people sitting here, and it just, like, guys, I just don't understand how people think this way. Who cares if they come over there with paper shredders? Who cares? Who gives a fuck if they get rid of all the paper evidence? It's still on a hard drive somewhere. It's still on a server. Listen, if I have a database, if I have a company and I'm using a server database somewhere, it's very easy if I'm the CEO and I have access or control to the server database to just delete everything. I have access to it. I can just delete the file. I can literally log into the server and just delete it, and that's the end of it. And now it's no longer in some server database. It's gone. Then you go ahead and you delete the hard drive, and then you fry it with the magnet, and then you smash. You basically break the center of it, and then you make sure that it's got in there with a good old couple nails, and you're good to go. Pop some magnets in that bitch, and you're fine. That thing's fucked. Now you start burning shit. You shred the only paper evidence. Now there's no hard drive evidence, there's no paper evidence, and then there's no server evidence. It's not like they're the criminals. It's not like the CEO or the head of the Doge at that point doesn't know what criminality's going on. He's the fucking one that logged in and deleted it. He's the one that guy has the access. He's the one that went right on in and deleted it himself, and then told everybody below him, "This is what we need to get rid of." But he was just talking about. He goes, "Watch, you're gonna start seeing paper shredders over at the Doge." What happens today? Breaking paper shredding truck was seen outside the Department of Justice building in Washington. They're literally shredding documents. They're literally before the next administration comes in, shredding documents, deleting data, and probably deleting and destroying hard drives. It's literally happening. This is illegal as fuck. Like, you cannot do this. And that's what I'm saying. Crime in the United States has no bounds because nobody holds these piles of shit accountable. Now, watch this. 25% of the U.S. Senate has a net worth of at least 10 million. They're all rich as fuck. Why would they do anything that benefits us? If they tax the rich, it hurts them. So before a bill comes down, if it's a taxing the rich, hold on. Sorry, I had to sneeze. I didn't want to sneeze on the thing. So before it even hits the floor, 1/4 of the entire vote's already no. It hurts me. I'm not gonna do it. That was the only thing I said about Tim Walz. I'm like, well, at least the guy's not rich, and it shows you he's not gonna be bought. But he was the weirdest man I've ever seen. And again, I live in Minnesota. I know how trash he was. I know exactly how trash he was during the riots. I'm not a big fan, but for him to not have a ton of money to me was like good. That means he's gonna work for the people because he is the people at that point. But again, thank God it went the way it did. To be honest with you, but here we go. So again, 25% of U.S. Senate now worth 10 million. Now watch this. This is what happens when you're privileged. This is what Nancy Pelosi did. Nancy Pelosi's niece is getting paid $181,648 a year to be a climate advisor at the HUD. So at the Department of Housing and Urban Development, she's a senior advisor for climate. She makes 100. This is the most pointless fucking job I've ever heard in my entire life. There are actually other people that are in this field, okay? That are in this type of field, and they say they make like 75. This bitch makes 181,000 to talk about climate control, just to be an advisor for climate control. And you wonder why these guys, oh, we need climate, all this, because they give their kids these climate control jobs, these fucking, oh, fight the environment, save the environment jobs that they make 200,000 a year at, that are literally pointless government jobs, pointless. What do you think this chick does all day? What do you think Alexis Pelosi does in a week on climate control? Nothing. Probably comes, sits on her desk, looks at the weather report, and goes, "Oh my God, it's gonna be 2 degrees hotter than it was last year. I'm gonna blame. What should I blame today? Oh, these cows are farting. Really, there's tons more farting cows than there usually is, you guys. It's fucking the atmosphere up. 200K? Again, must be nice being the rich where you can just give, and then the government jobs exploding, so they can go ahead and keep the numbers up. And you wonder why Elon's like, you know how much government waste there is out there? Well, here's your example. You have like $500,000 right here in just climate fucking bullshit. People in just climate control. Here's 600 fucking K. Whatever, dude. Such a joke. But here we go. This is what's funny to me. Fed's Gooselby. The Fed has to figure out why the 10-year is rising and keep an eye on long rates. Now, what have I been talking about for the last, I don't know, 2 years? The 10-year how fucked all these rates are gonna get. The national debt. This guy who works for the feds is too fucking stupid to figure out them printing and destroying the dollar is the reason the 10-year is going up. He's too fucking stupid to figure it out. Can't figure it out. It can't be the fact we printed $6 trillion. Can't be that. It can't be the fact our country's GDP is just disintegrating and we're going to get to the point where our interest rates are so high, can we pay them back? It can't be the fact that it's getting riskier by the day because we as the Federal Reserve need to be disbanded because we're worthless and all we do is destroy the country one print job at a time. So he's too stupid to figure out that the feds themselves are the reason that rates are going up. Meanwhile, rates keep going up. And like I said to you guys, when the feds come on and they cut rates, it doesn't help housing. It doesn't do anything to they want to be like, "Oh man, let's put on TV that we're going to cut rates." Who cares? That's not a good thing. It's the worst thing ever. First of all, it has nothing to do with the fucking housing market. It all goes off the 10-year. All goes off the 10-year. So when the feds cut rates, this is what happens. And I told you this is what happens to get the fuck out of your ISDA banks. This is what happens right here. Like I said, Fed rates don't do anything but help corporations. So what this has done is AMC now pays 10 million less a year in interest. Let's go. First of all, that's badass. But other than that, they pay you less for your deposits. Meanwhile, the 10-year goes up and it's harder for you to get loans because our government can't stop spending. Now, when you read this, listen to this. The online bank has emailed customers to notify Chase Bank, JP Criminal Morgan. JP Criminal Morgan, the online bank has emailed customers to notify them that their interest rates is going to be cut in 3 days' time, which means they're going to start paying, Chase Bank's going to start paying their depositors less money to have their money in their bank. So in other words, you're now going to make less money on interest. That's what it does to you. So what it does is it hurts corporation loans. So every time you cut it, it helps them. They get loans easier, and it helps how much they pay on their loans. It helps banks because they pay you less on your deposits. It has nothing to do with car loans. It has nothing to do with credit card loans. It has nothing to do with fucking house loans. Those all go off your 10-year. All goes off your debt. All goes off that. So the way they make it sound like, oh, the feds are going to cut rates, everything's fucking saved. Actually, all you're doing is hurting everybody who is in a fucking bank. But anyways, it means that those who have savings in Chase Bank will earn less interest on their savings than before. Chase has announced a reduction 25%. Chase has announced a reduction in its Chase Saver rate from 3.75 to 3.50. So, basically, banks will pay you less. Chase has announced a reduction. This will take effect on November 14th. So, again, you're already making less. This comes from rate cuts. Have you left your ISDA bank today? Go to a credit union. Now, I've told you guys how to make yourself safe. Told you guys to go into money market funds 3 years ago. Told you to get into gold. Told you to get into silver. I've shown you guys 8 SPY plays. Told you to get land. There's tons of things that we've done to hedge against this. I told you guys to get, like I said, crypto's not a bad play. This for a while there, for a long time, I said crypto will be a great way to hedge it, but I'm not going to go ahead full into crypto. But now I'm going full ahead into crypto as well because again, one of these things that could also happen is you guys know another shit meme coin's going to come up and explode, and it's like there was one I was looking at, but I don't trust it anymore. Staying away from that shit. But again, money market funds, U.S. money market assets top 7 trillion for the first time. Assets have jumped following the Fed's 25 basis point rate cut. Increased by 91.4 billion. That means another 100 billion has left the bank account, left banks. This is what I told you guys is going to happen. Banks are going to keep lowering interest rates and come more and more
less relevant in the world. People are not going to need them because guess what hasn't cut their rates? Brokers. Brokers are still paying you 5%. Brokers are still paying more than banks. I've been saying I feel like for a long time I feel like a lot of people are going to end up moving mainly into their brokers and just have, maybe enough to pay in banks what they, need type thing. So, there's a lot money market funds, treasuries, and there's a lot more. There's so many more options that are attractive than fucking sitting in a bank. It's like have in a bank what you have need to pay bills, and there's no point. Otherwise, you're losing money. Period. And if you are in a bank, at least be in a credit union where they're gonna pay you higher interest rates than these pieces of shit. But again, what happens when all that cash flows back into stocks? This is another thing I was saying. All these people are going to be in these money market funds. Their money's going to be safe over there. It's going to be building. It's going to be building. They're going to have themselves safe from a crash. Then they will unbuy it. They'll take it all out when the crash happens, and they're going to buy the shit out of assets pennies on the dollar. This is one of the reasons I said, guys, go over here, and then when you can come on over, when everything goes down, and boom, do what they're doing. Follow what the rich guys are doing. We have been telling you guys this for like 3 years now. This is the way to save all of your assets. Now, I said the day he cut the first time, you're gonna see 8% rates within 2.5 months. Remember that if you're buying a house. Don't wait if you're gonna be like, oh yeah, it's good. No, it's gonna get worse. Why mortgage rates? They're already talking about it now. Why mortgage rates could be heading to 8% despite a red Fed rate cut. The mortgage rate keeps going up. The 10-year rate keeps going up. And 8%, they always kind of make it so you guys see it first, and then it happens a couple weeks later. But they're like, at least we grinded it into them quick that it's a possibility. And that's exactly what they're doing. Guys, 8% is going to come. If you're thinking about buying a house, you're like, maybe we wait a minute to see. No, they're not going to come down. They're going to go up. They're going to keep going up. They're already screaming they're going to go up for the last like 9 months straight, and they've just skyrocketed. Like, I can't say go now. Obviously, I don't know financial situations, but it's going to keep getting fucking worse and worse. Eventually, I'm seeing like 8.6% before I see relief. And I don't see relief for a long time. A long time. But again, if you look at the national debt, we're about to now, by tomorrow, pass 36 trillion. We will pass 36 trillion. This is what they did is they tried to have I told you they would try and just bomb the economy and then hand a fucking just nuclear bomb to Trump and then blame him for everything in the first month or two when shit blows up. The commercial real estate bomb's going to blow up. All this stuff is going to explode right into Trump's first term. Again, if it's not by the end of this year, there's going to be some kind of correction in the first couple of months of next year. There's no possible way it doesn't happen, and they're going to just go ahead and keep making it harder and harder and harder for a while until Trump takes over, and then they're just going to, here you go. They're salty. They're fucking salty. They lost everything. But again, why does the 10-year keep going up? Well, your debt keeps going up. What else is happening? Pentagon fails seventh audit in a row, unable to account for $824 billion. So out of that 6 trillion that we printed for COVID, basically 1 trillion is just missing. So we printed an extra $1 trillion. So we had an extra $1 trillion of fucking inflation, basically, and all this stuff happening for what? So they could go ahead and lose fucking this money. The Pentagon has failed their audits for the last 7 years. If you have watched my videos, I've been going over this for years. Every year I have gone and I have done an audit video on the Pentagon. I've literally broke down their finance stuff, everything on where it's missing. And where is always missing is defense contracts. It's the main fucking thing is defense contracts, and it's how these defense contract stocks keep rising because they steal. They go ahead and they say, "All right, I have an order, let's say for fucking 50 tanks, okay? They'll only order 25." Or what they'll do is say, "The cost of this 50 tanks is going to be X," and they'll overestimate by like fucking $10 billion, $1 billion. Well, when you overestimate by $1 billion here and there, they're still getting the grants. They get the grants. The government, if they give me the estimate, the government signs off on it, and then they give you the grant. It's not like it's not like the government comes over and goes, "Hey, did you spend every penny?" and blah 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 and double checks it all. He gives you the grant. He moves the fuck on. Wait, my sound got all low? Oh no. Is it still low? Talk to me. Is it still low? Why did it get low all of a sudden? We've been going for like an hour. Can you guys hear me in the chat? Go ahead and tell me if it's still fucked. I'm gonna keep going because nobody's saying anything. But was it? Oh yeah. So what they'll do is they'll overestimate these fucking tanks by like $5 billion. They don't get audited, and the next thing you notice, they'll keep that money, and then they'll be like, "Oh well, those tanks are missing," or "Oh, this didn't cost this extra amount," and then they'll be like, "Well, what happened to the extra money that was granted to you?" "I don't know. It's gone." It's better. Okay. Sorry, I don't know what that was. So then they'll be like, "Oh, it's gone," or blah blah blah, and then next thing you notice, they'll be like, "Oh, it's good to go. No worries. We'll just keep fucking saying this is. Oh, we don't know where it went." Like I said, it's unbelievable how you can go ahead and they should know how much a fucking tank costs. You know what I mean? Like everybody should kind of have an idea, when you're over by $1 billion, it should ring a bell as somebody, but it never does because these defense contractors live in their whole new world. They're always best friends with the government. The government grants their best buddies these fucking deals, and then they give their kickbacks to the fucking all their friends that are in politicians and shit, and then they'll never not go with those guys. It is the stupidest thing ever. So they'll keep on stealing, and then what they'll do is they'll steal an extra couple billion and kick back to some of this guy, kick back to this guy, and they'll look the other way and they'll look the other way. And next thing you notice, we're missing a fucking $1 trillion. 824 billion is missing. Think about this. That's almost as much as we pay in defenses in a year in taxes. Think about that. We basically are missing our entire defense budget. Think about that. Our entire defense budget is missing. The entire budget's gone. They stole the entire budget. And then, I mean, geez, not and then some, but they stole the entire fucking budget. Like, people should be. This is the most unreal thing I've ever heard. The Pentagon stole its entire budget. I mean, that's mind blowing, dude. And people, why are the 10 years going up? Because nobody has faith in our government anymore. And on top of that, look at this shit. Wealth distribution in the U.S. shows that the top 10% of the households hold 62%. The top 10% of households hold 62% of the country's wealth. Now listen to this. Compared to 5.7% held by the bottom 50%. Say that one more time. The top 10% of households in the United States own 62% of the country's wealth. Something's not working. The system's broken. The system is broken. Those stats don't fucking lie. The system is absolutely fucking broken. The top 10% are all criminals, anyways, or they've all committed so many crimes to get so much more richer and nobody cares. It's not even funny. It's a complete joke, and they're all just taking handouts. So it's like the top 10% are the richest criminals in the United States. Congratulations. Like eventually, I cannot wait until we fucking start kicking doors down, dude. Like shit. I just pray to God Trump comes in here and starts fucking some shit up. I mean, I know it's a lot to ask. I doubt it's gonna end up happening. Cause let's be real, I feel like eventually we'll have to make the moves as citizens. But I do want to finish it off with this because I do got to get going. I haven't live for almost an hour and a half here, but I do want to read this last tweet, and I do want to show you guys all this and read this last bit of information here. As I pointed out before, they are creating such a wealth gap, it will fuck up the economy. The rich can only buy so many possessions. We can't afford those possessions. Retail stores will start to collapse more, and they will be the only ones spending at their store. They're literally going to go to their store and spend it and pay themselves. And that's going to be the only people going to their stores until they start crashing down. They have hold on. Criminals have ran this country way too long. They have made the rules only to benefit them, and they've always had the lower and middle class to bail them out if they failed. But this will lead to more and more eyes opening, as you saw with the election. As you saw with the election, more people were, hey, my life sucks. Why? I'm going to vote in change. Now listen, they voted in change. If change doesn't happen and their lives don't get better, trust me, it will escalate. Because now they go, all right, we went blue, it sucked. We went red, it sucked. Now we need to go us. That's where it leads to. But this will lead to more and more eyes opening. The commercial real estate bomb of 929 billion is around the corner. Debt in the 10-year keeps going up, putting more and more stress on the country, middle class and lower class. Eventually people will wonder why they're working 80 hours but they can't afford their house. The only way out for them is to print or bring some of that wealth back to this country. This is why I believe there will still need to be a MOAS. We need to teach people about fraudulent banking system and make sure the rich that make sure that they stay rich. That makes sure that they stay rich, and we pay for them to be that way. Never stop learning. Never stop exploiting this shit. Now I want to read the stat. The U.S. economy boom is a mirage. The U.S. economy boom is a mirage. The bottom 40% by income now account for only 20% of spending. While now the richest 20% account for 40% of all spending. They're basically getting to that point where the only ones buying shit at their store is them. And eventually, they can only have so many fucking houses. They can only have so many houses full of so many fucking clothes that they make. Until they're only paying themselves back and forth. And there's nobody else there to fucking buy their shit. Like I said, GDP will fall. Corporations are gonna fall. You cannot kill your middle class. You cannot kill your lower class. It is impossible for you to do that and still thrive. Now, one of the things that I talked about, the U.S. economy is being split by what we call a selective recession, as some consumers see huge wealth creations while others struggle to get by, according to J.P. Morgan's Matthew Boss. He's a fucking douche. The equity analyst pointed to the divide between low income and high income consumers. High income consumers are thriving, evident by the 40 trillion worth of spending they're driving into the economy, which is half. Now remember, at first they said that they're spending 40%. This has them at half. So they're spending anywhere between 40 to 50% of all spending is by the rich pieces of shit. So there's not this economy boom. It's just rich people buying up more assets to be richer because they're fucking greedy piles of shit and we all can't afford it. But eventually, this is why I say there has to be a MOAS. You need to bring that wealth back. Because in the long run, when the middle class and lower class have money, they still have to spend it at your store. It's still going to come back to you, you rich fucking assholes. How much do you need? But it's either do that or get too exposed. There's no way out for them, you guys. But thank you guys for listening. I do gotta get going. It is lunchtime. It's dinner time. I gotta get the family fed here. So I'm going to be doing option strategies in my Discord as well. It is free. I will never charge you guys. We are always just in there learning. I will never tell you guys this or that. It's just, hey, I'm looking at this. This is the Discord. I sent the link in the chat. Join it. If you didn't, if you didn't get this live stream, if you're listening after the live stream, I will post it again on my next live stream. Try to make the live stream. Over the next couple live streams, I will post my Discord. All we're doing it, I don't care, guys. It's just a Discord for everybody that wants to learn market stuff. I don't care if you're a beginner, advanced. I don't care how great you think you are. Great. If you're the smartest guy in there, we'll give you a channel and you can teach people. I don't care. All it is about us learning and learning together at all stages of this market corruption and learning how to trade. And just like I said, in the end of the day, like me or not, I'm here for you guys. I'm here for retail. I'm here for middle class. I'm here for us all to learn and just grow and make all of our lives just a little better. That's all I want to do. You guys can hate me because I picked AMC at first and it went down, and you can blame me, but in the end of the day, all you guys said you got in it at first, and you're down 95%. So let's think about this logically. You're down 95% on your investment. You're down on all this. That means all you guys jumped in, what, towards the fucking top? I didn't even come around until June. So that means you held onto the stock for 7 months before I even came around. Look at my Twitter date. I didn't come till fucking June. So these people that want to blow up on me, oh my god, you said this. I came in and one of my first tweets was, I actually made money on AMC because I did sell on the run up, and then I bought back in because I thought it was going to explode again. And I, at the time, was like, sweet, I haven't made this much in a lot, like ever in trading. So there you go. And then I jumped back in. Anyone that still wants to blame me for anything at this point, if you didn't do the reverse split, you wouldn't have a fucking stock today. You'd be at $0. At least you still have a company. At least you still have a play. Did Adam Aaron handle everything right? Fuck no. And I made fun of all these people. Oh, I made fun of him when he did stupid shit. And when I said he did stuff wrong, he did it wrong. But I understood why he needed to do ape. And I told you guys when we did shit wrong. We should have never said no the first time. He never needed to make ape, and he could have sold when it was in the $20 range, and he could have paid off so much more debt, and we could have had so much more in the reserves. It's not even funny. But everybody wanted to, no, he's out to help the hedge funds. No, he's not. Grow up. He's out there to fucking get his company fixed. Because we invested in a company that was very broken at the time, burning hundreds of millions of dollars. Very broken. He needed to fix that. Hate the guy. Again, hate him, love him, do whatever. But in the end of the day, the guy needed to save his company. He did. Again, why didn't he sell at higher prices when Ape came out? I don't fucking know. Maybe he thought, hey, when they finally start delivering this stock to other people like they should, think of how fucked up the Ape delivery was. Half these people didn't get their ape. Half the people got half their shit. People got wrong stuff all over. Some people waited weeks, days. If everybody got their shit the way it was supposed to, the price would have been way better. The price action would have been way different. But how many people, like I said, how fucked up was the launch of Ape? You've never seen it with another stock, but the whole Ape launch was fucked up. Oh man, half of us didn't get dividend, or half of us didn't get it. Half of us got it. Fuck it. Those people that got it days later, days later, days later. If those were all accounted for the first day, and those all needed to be bought up and shot out to everybody, the price would have went way up. So again, it's not like he was like, let me do this ape and let it go down to fucking 50 cents. No, if you didn't, you guys, Jesus Christ, there was 45 million FTDs. 45 million ape FTDs. I posted it. There was 45 million ape FTDs. That's insane. In a week, in 1 week, there was 45 million. Do you think that if they didn't have 45 million FTDs, the stock price wouldn't have fucking been way higher? They cheated, manipulated the hell out of Ape. So you can hate at him, agree with them, but to hate somebody and not acknowledge the fact that his idea might have actually worked, but the fucking corruption got a hold of it. Sometimes you can't hate a person for trying to play in a corrupt game. At least he tried something. But again, you wouldn't have had a company if he wasn't able to raise money when he did those last couple times. Granted, he should have done it higher, but again, if we would have let him do it at $20, he might not even needed to do it now. Would have maybe needed to sell way less shares again. So we all made mistakes. We all learned. We're all growing, and we all learned that in the end of the day, a CEO is going to take care of his company. That's what the hell they pay him for. He's not in it with the he's in it with the hedge funds. Grow up, dude. No, he's not. He's in it to save his fucking company. He's not waiting for the fucking price to go down. What he's doing is hoping that it recovers, and then they'll pound it down, and eventually he goes, all right, well, I still need to raise capital at some point, and if they pound it down too hard, it's going to be too hard to raise capital, so I need to sell at this point because I have to raise money right now. It's not hard. So, guys, not everybody's out to get us. AMC at this point, you're in this for the long haul. You're in this till 2026 or until something explodes. But in 2026, your stock will explode. The box office will explode, and AMC will have its balance sheets beyond fix at that point. Just relax. There's no going down from this point. All these people, oh my God, we're gonna go to a buck 50 and reverse split again. Just calm down. Why? How would you go down again to a buck 50? For what reason? Because they're barely burning money. The only, like I said, if Adam Aaron, I still don't agree with him. And here's my critique, Adam, lower your capex, you fucking clown. If you're burning fucking 30, 40 million in a quarter and your capex is 175, it doesn't take a rocket scientist. 200, your fucking capex is 225 to say, let me fucking take a quarter where I'm not upgrading as many theaters or worrying about the laser projectors and shit, and let me just make sure I have a profitable quarter. I mean, I'm not a business major, but I mean, it seems like common fucking sense. Again, just lower it to 125 million a quarter. Make sure you're positive. It's not like I sit there and I watch how these guys run companies, and it's like you look over and you're like, so you could have been profitable if you would have upgraded less theaters and upgraded some less shit. Why the fuck didn't you just upgrade less and wait? Why did upgrade as you can go and afford to? You don't need to overspend and then raise capital. It's just like I said, put me in the CEO position and I will fucking. It's not that hard to do all these things, these certain accounting things that could massively benefit us. Drives me nuts, dude. But in the end of the day, we'll see what happens. There's a lot. Like I said, I gave you guys a whole bunch of plays to play, to watch. Keep your eyes on. Whole bunch of good news here for AMC again. Tons of great movies, tons of great content. But again, guys, Coinbase is a very interesting play to me. BAKKT is a very interesting play to me. Crypto, like I said, tons of stuff you guys can be looking at here. SCMI, I do have those puts now. I believe that they will get rejected, but I gotta get going though. Thank you guys. I should be going live in a couple days.